Alright, so in the first sentence we have to use an indirect object, and the order in which an indirect object will be used is like this. It starts with a subject and then a verb, and then you'll write the person who benefits from the action being done to the direct object. So this is the order in which you'll see things: subject, verb, io, do. And the best verbs to use, there's the notes there. The best verb to use here is the verb give, because we're talking about what John Adams gave the American people. So if we can say something like John Adams gave the American people a direct object, then we'll have it. So here's my sentence. John Adams, subject, gave, verb, the American people, indirect object, the phrase. Here's our direct object. And then when you use words as examples of themselves, you're supposed to underline them. So that's why I underlined the American dream. And I decided to make it a proper noun because it's a particular thing. So here's our subject, here's what he did, and here's what he actually gave. He gave the phrase, and then the people who benefited are the American people, and that's our indirect object. If you're writing a sentence with the indirect object, try to write a sentence using the verb give. Give will usually take an indirect object if you give someone a thing. Number two. Number two is compound, complex. Now compound means two independent plus at least one subordinate. So there will be two sentences that could stand alone and at least one that cannot. And we have to talk about the difference in the spirit of the people between the present economic downturn and the Great Depression. And we have to underline the subordinate clause. So here's my sentence. During the Great Depression, people, here's our subject, still had, here's our verb, hope. So here's our first independent clause. People still had hope. However, people today feel, and then here is our subordinate clause, that tomorrow will not necessarily be better than today. So we have two independent clauses. We have people still had hope and people today feel, and then we have our subordinate clause here, the direct object of feel. This is a noun clause right here. So we have two independents. Here's independent number one. Here's independent number two after however. People today feel. And then here's our subordinate clause, this noun clause here. Here is our subordinate clause. This is called a noun clause. All right, three. Write a sentence paraphrasing Roosevelt's feelings about American progress. Use and label a noun, adjective, preposition, and conjunction in your answer. So here we go. Roosevelt believed that the trend line of America's incredible and epic progress will always move upward. So here's our noun. Here's our verb. That the trend line of America's incredible. Here's our adjective. Oh, here's a preposition. And here's a conjunction. So it has all the bits. Noun, verb, preposition, adjective, conjunction. Number four. Write a sentence about the situation faced by the modern middle class using an infinitive phrase. Underline the infinitive phrase. So infinitive phrase means to verb. So we're going to have to say to and a verb. So here is my sentence. The middle class today find it difficult to buy the American dream because their wages have declined over time. So here is our infinitive to buy. 5. Write a sentence with a noun clause summarizing the author's main idea. Underline the noun clause. So the easiest way to do this is to use the sentence frame, the author's main idea is that. Whatever follows that will be the predicate nominative to the author's main idea. So this is what I chose to do. The author's main idea is that Americans may no longer feel that the American dream is possible. This is actually 2 noun clauses in a row, but that's okay. We have that the Americans may no longer feel, and this is the predicate nominative. And then we finish off the clause with this direct object, which is also a noun clause, that the American dream is possible. All right, so here are my answers, and here are the questions. Go ahead and revise the ones that you need to.